You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
I'm Stephen Cabral, and we are into our second house call of the weekend. I do hope you tuned in yesterday. We were speaking about thyroid. We had a bunch of community questions then as well. We talked about new locations that we're going to be able to offer other services to people all around the world. We talked about genetics. We talked about ApoE blood type. Really a lot of great questions yesterday on antibiotics, on strep throat for children. So do tune into that show. I believe we are on right now episode 471. So yesterday was episode 470. If you want to tune into that, today is 471. Always a great place to go because we talk about so many things on the Cabral House Call that I always link them up in the show notes page, which means like if you need a link directly to one of my product recommendations, whether it was like for a urinary tract-based product that we talked about yesterday, whether it's my favorite brand of, coconut oil or my favorite, like let's say just Bragg's or whatever it might be, we link it up on that show notes page. And always to find every show notes for the previous 471 shows, you can just go to stephencabral.com/podcasts. So now let's get right into today's show. We always have a bunch of great questions that have come in over the past couple of weeks. And today's first question actually is from Rebekah. She writes in, "Hi doc, is it scientifically to be proved that the soles of your feet can absorb particularly or..." So I apologize. A lot of people just write these, I think with voice text, and it just kind of comes through like that. But she's asking essentially, if you put medicated oils, like essential oils on the bottom of your feet, such as cilantro, will that be absorbed through the feet to give your whole body benefit? So that's what she's asking. And it's probably me reading and not Rebekah, actually, who wrote it this way. But what I want to say is yes. So one of the first principles that I learned that I never knew before, so before I studied overseas, and again, they don't teach you this in just textbooks typically. In Ayurvedic books they do, but that's not taught in U.S. curriculum. So what happens is when you're getting a full body massage and they're using an Ayurvedic oil or oil in general with a little bit of essential oils in there too, you are going to absorb about 3 to 4 teaspoons is what I've always been taught. So that means this was always a great way for people with weak digestion or trouble with digestion to get these herbs, because you can put herbs in the oil, or the essential oils such as lavender or the cilantro, whatever it might be, castor oil, directly through the skin and into the bloodstream. So it doesn't have to go through the stomach and it doesn't have to go directly first to the liver. That can be remarkable for helping to heal the body. Let's just say you do your feet. Does it get absorbed? Absolutely. So the feet, the palms, that's a really easy way to get nutrients, so the oils or detoxification as well, out in through the feet. And so, yeah, that's a great way to do it. Are you going to absorb as much if you don't do the kind of the full body oil massage? No, you won't, but you'll still get plenty of benefit. And also, Edgar Cayce demonstrated quite a number of years ago as well that what you can do is you can actually apply the essential oil and the oils in general to the area that needs it the most. And it will go directly into those tissues. So that's very helpful. Again, if you didn't check out my podcast before on castor oil packs, just scroll back through the podcast. You can even just do a little search on it. If you're on a Mac and you go to the podcast page, you can just hit Command F, and that will then allow you to type in castor, CASTOR, and you'll be able to find those castor oil packs. It's really helpful. And the second part to Rebekah's question was asking if I did a show already on vaccines. And I have not yet. So I will do a show on vaccines in the future. What I'd like to do is just bring in some guests as well, some experts on the topic of vaccinations who have really studied it in depth. I've done the research. I've studied it quite in depth myself, but I would always love to bring in other different sides of the equation. I always try to remain as unbiased as possible and just let people then make the decision that's best for them. I don't think that in general, people should have ideologies forced upon them when it comes to their own children. That should be a parent's choice, as long as they're not doing anything to harm their own child. So I'll do a show on that in the future without a doubt. Okay, Jennifer's up next. Hello, doctor. If you have SIBO and Candida and parasites, what should you do first? Also, I heard you say no garlic for SIBO, but garlic is in all the intestinal parasite method supplements, and it's supposed to be great at killing them. Lastly, is it smart to take glutamine at night before bed daily as part of maintenance? I do feel gassy when I take garlic, but I will do anything to get rid of the parasites. Please help, advise. Thank you. Okay. So I've done a show on this before, and I want to sum it all up for you really in just quick 90-second answer. So if you have parasites and SIBO and Candida, SIBO is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. That's basically like a form of IBS. IBS is a blanket statement. It stands for irritable bowels. That's literally it. Yes, if you have gas, you have bloating, you have all those things, you have IBS. You have irritable bowels. There's no specific test that you run that says, okay, you have IBS. It's just a collection of symptoms that we say your bowels are irritable. And so we say, oh, you have IBS. People will feel so much better. Well, I have this disease. Well, no, you don't. You just have SIBO or you have Candida overgrowth, or you have some type of intestinal dysbiosis, you have parasites, you have something. So what we do first is we wipe out the parasites. Parasites have to go first. They just do. You have to set the stage for the environment. So they're the most virulent. We take care of that first. You don't want to take care of the yeast first because that's just going to grow back until you get the environment right. So we wipe out the parasites. We do a 6-week protocol for that, about 42 days. That's what's shown to be the best for removing parasites. After that, we work on the SIBO and Candida at the same time, and that's very, very simple. The reason is this. The products that work on SIBO pretty much work on Candida as well. Our protocol is 12 weeks long. It works better than anything I've ever seen in the entire world, and I'll tell you that honestly because if someone was doing it better, I would literally do what they were doing. Like no magic at all. What I do in my practice is say, what's the very best thing in the world that we can do to help someone with Crohn's, colitis, SIBO, Candida? And that's it. And I just do that. There's no ego involved. It's whatever's best, I do that, because none of us have invented any of this because they knew how to do all of this 6,000 years ago in Ayurvedic medicine. We're just relearning it today. So we have a very specific protocol that's obviously been updated with state-of-the-art medicine, and that's why people don't have to eliminate all the fruit and all the vegetable and all the starches. They don't. When you know which foods have more fructose than glucose, then you know which ones to eliminate. So all of that comes with our Candida protocol. Honestly, it's what we're known for. It's really the number one thing that we do is digestion. We, of course, work on everything, but that's number one. That's how we help people who are in the worst shape possible. What else? Why is garlic in? Well, garlic's a natural antimicrobial. It has something in it called allicin, A-L-L-I-C-I-N, and great product. Here's the issue. Whole garlic is different than the extract. And so what we use the extract in our product. Whole garlic itself has a lot more of those fructans. And the issue with those fructans is then they act as a prebiotic. So that's why we just don't use it initially. Can you use garlic after about 6 to 8 weeks in our protocol? Yes, you just test it like as a food, but in the beginning, no. So you're right on both accounts. Garlic is great for killing, but if you eat it as a whole food, well, then it just creates massive issues. Could you do it as part of your parasite protocol? Because crushing whole garlic and swallowing it before bed works amazingly well for killing parasites. Yes. So you might have to deal with some of the bloating, the gas, things like that from the garlic. But at the same time, just keep in mind, you don't have to do whole garlic before bed if it bothers you. A lot of people have sulfur-based issues and they can't do it either. So you don't need any one food to get well. Like there's just no one food that has to be done. You don't need to do cilantro for a heavy metal detox. It works amazingly well, but you don't have to do that. There are other ways to do it. So hopefully that answers your question, and we'll link up the Candida protocol and parasite protocol in the show notes. Okay. Shana is up next. Dr. Cabral, enjoying everything I hear and continue to be grateful for the information and passion you convey. So excited for your book. 2-part question. If you are able and willing, what is your opinion on magnets and negative ion bracelets? Hype or legit? Could you please direct me to the show for help with Lyme disease for my husband? I thought he was improving with rash, antibiotic, the typical treatment, but I'm getting worried as he occasionally feels achiness radiate through his body, not centralized. Thank you for your energy, passion. Most sincerely, Shana. Okay, so I love the magnet and negative ion bracelets for some people. It seems to work great for a lot of nervous system based issues, meaning that people who are getting benefits from acupuncture oftentimes get also benefits from the magnetic bracelets and soles, as well as the negative ion bracelets. The problem is this, is that it's like low level treatment. So meaning that to me, it's not enough to move the needle to get well. So let me make this even clearer. If you wear a negative ion bracelet, it's like taking coenzyme Q10 for energy. It's most likely not going to be the thing that totally changes your life. It's just a nice adjunct to your protocol, but I certainly wouldn't spend my money there if money was and finances were tight. I would spend them on good nutritional supplements, good organic food, on detoxification, on doing a sauna sometimes, on doing manual lymph drainage, on a dry brush. Those are going to move the needle so much further because your body doesn't need the bracelet. Yeah, it could use negative ions, but you can get that by walking outside in the morning on grass. You can get it being near the beach. You could do squeezing lemon or lime into your water, which is giving negative ions to the body. So I'm just saying you could do a lot of other things. But yeah, I do agree with it without a doubt. Just keep in mind, if you have, like we just in our last question, for example, if you have parasites, the negative ion bracelet is not going to get rid of parasites. Just like acupuncture is not going to get rid of parasites. It can help, but you still need to do the protocol that's going to get rid of the parasites. And I know that's not going to be like a favorite answer for a lot of people, but just do keep in mind when I studied and I was an intern at a traditional Chinese medicine hospital in China, they did acupuncture, but they also gave herbs. They also gave other things as well. So it wasn't just the acupuncture, it was in conjunction with herbs or other things as well. So hopefully that helps. And Tom is up next. Oh, sorry about the Lyme. I haven't done a show on Lyme disease yet, I don't believe. I have a whole hour-and-a-half presentation that I've done before to Lyme associations in Massachusetts and online. So what I'll try to do is get that up there, and why don't we... Well, I'll do my best to get that up there as soon as possible. Just keep in mind that people suffer from what they call Lyme after Lyme's gone. The issue is it's no longer Lyme. It's just not. What you're left with is the destruction of or poisoning of a lot of the mitochondria in your cells. So you can start to look that up if you would like, and what it does to your nervous system. So remember, this bacteria is pretty brutal, and it actually starts to deteriorate other parts of your body. All of that you can come back from, without a doubt. I mean, without a doubt, you can. And I work with many people with Lyme in my practice, of course, being in the Northeast and being near Connecticut and Western Massachusetts and Maine and New Hampshire. There's lots of ticks and Lyme around us. Okay, up next is Tom. Hello, Dr. Cabral. I'm just following up with my question from Instagram. Does CBD oil have any anti-Candida or bacterial overgrowth properties? Thanks. Okay, so Tom, what I want to do is refer you back to episode 466, stephencabral.com/466. It says how to use CBD oil to heal dozens of diseases. And that's diseases in air quotes or with a little dash between it, because of course, natural medicine does not cure disease. It does not treat disease. It treats the person. So we don't treat disease because we know disease is an accumulation of symptoms that we give a name to. So what we do is we work on the person, what's in balance, and then we work on that from there. Apologize about all the sirens outside. It is a busy day here in Boston. Very, very urban-based environment here. Okay, so Tom, let's answer your first question, and let's explain it to everyone. Like, what's the difference between the antimicrobial and antibacterial? Because I did explain it in that show, so I'll just do this very briefly. So, antimicrobial essentially means that think of it as like almost like the Purell or the hand sanitizer. So that kills bacteria and fungus, but it also kills viruses. So it kills microbes that could also spread disease or spread some type of pathogen. I'm not a big advocate of using, Lysol wipes and all these things. Like, there's a time and place. If you're like, let's just say there was blood on a carpet or wherever it might be in public, of course, you're going to use that. You want to kill things that would kill blood-based microbes, and you would want to kill things that carry the viruses and kill HIV, all those different types of things. So that makes sense, but not for typical daily use. Now, an antibacterial would actually work on then the bacteria that can be living endogenously within your body as well. And an antibacterial could be anything from like an antibiotic to maybe a berberine and to a CBD. So what they found, at least so far, now keep in mind, there are 962 proven studies on, or at least clinical studies on CBD, cannabinoids. Please go listen back to that show if you haven't yet, because it's very, very in-depth, and why people are getting such great results from, all different types of symptoms by using CBD oil. And so right now we're looking at THC, which is the more psychoactive component of cannabis, as an antimicrobial, but CBD oil acting as an antibacterial. So that means if you put it in, you swallowed it like the oil that we have, it would go into the bloodstream to kill bacteria, but it would also be into the stomach and the gut and potentially kill bacteria there as well. More studies need to be done, but I'm a big advocate of it because of all the, I like to call it like tertiary results. Meaning like you're taking it for this reason, but it reduces inflammation. And it relaxes your nervous system, which most people need. It helps you get a better night's sleep. It helps potentially protect you against cancer. So these are all great things just to use. And that's why, when I get home from work, oftentimes I just like to use a half a drop or the 10 drops under my tongue, hold it there for 10 minutes. Not quite 10 minutes, maybe less, maybe 5 minutes, and then just swallow it. And the benefits are I'm more relaxed. I'm more even keeled. I'm calmer. I get a better night's sleep that night. I like to use it for travel. And so, the truth is that you get a good quality organic product like the one that we offer from the absolute best farms. We use an eco-friendly extraction. We use a CO2 extraction. We use a cold process so it's not heated and dead by the time it gets to you. And there's no pesticides. And so, you pay for that, but the benefit of, a 30-day supply and it being a couple dollars, if it works for you, it works for you and the investment is worth it. Then you say, okay, well, I don't need the X, whatever else it is. I play the games just like anyone else. You justify it however you want. So yes, there are antibacterial properties and they have been shown to work. So hopefully that works. And I would just go back to that show because it's much more in depth. And again, that was episode 466. We'll try to link it up. Okay, Anonymous is up next. Hi, Stephen. Love your podcast, the amount of knowledge you have and share. I am a 27-year-old health conscious Muslim female in Toronto, Canada, and I am going to be fasting for Ramadan starting May 26th. So I'm glad that we got this information to you because today is May 20th. So I believe it's May 20th, might be the 21st. So for Ramadan, it's from 4:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m., approximately 16 hours for a month for religious purposes. What do you recommend to eat during this time so that I have enough energy to last through the workday, avoid brain fog, and lose body fat without losing muscle mass? I'm not sure if you're familiar, but I cannot eat or drink anything, including water, during the time stated. So I want to fuel well during the times I can eat, drink, and I'm planning to work out. Slowly lift weights, resistance train 3 times a week during the day to retain muscle and get some exercise. Thank you in advance. All right, Anonymous, I work with people during Ramadan all the time, Muslim, religious, and no problem at all. Honestly, there's no issues with this. It's just an extended fast for that period of time. I think you're looking at, essentially you're looking at only eating for 2 1-hour windows per day. So you want to eat as close to sunup as possible during your respected times, which I believe you said was 4:30 a.m. I'm not sure if it's exactly 4:30 or if it differs based on sunrise, but regardless, it's around there. And so what you want to do is you want to wake up a half hour or so before you're not allowed to eat. And that's when you're going to want to have a meal. And so what I recommend in the morning is you're going to have more carbs in this meal. You're going to have your fruit smoothie, like the purple crush smoothie that I recommend with the all-in-one powder. You want to get all your vitamins in there, all of your nutrients, everything that's going to give your body what it needs for the day, ideally the greens powder as well. Easy to digest. And then with that smoothie, you're also going to have a small breakfast, a small meal as well. And you can choose what works best for your body. And also, depending on if you eat eggs or not eat eggs, if you just want to do some oatmeal with a lot of fiber, basically this meal should have a lot of fiber though. You want good fat, you want carbs, and you want protein. And you want that because you want it's going to be in your stomach for a good 3 hours. It's going to slowly move out, going to have plenty of fiber, so it's not going to spike that blood sugar, and it's going to allow you then just to feel satiated. And of course, you'll get hungry somewhere around maybe 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, but that will pass. You can do a workout, sure, a couple times a week. Don't do a workout if you're feeling really low because you don't want to drop your blood sugar too low. And then at night, once it's time to eat, you will eat and you will have a dinner then. You'll have less starches in the evening, but you'll have good protein, couple cups of vegetables, and you'll have some good healthy fat like avocado or olive oil or both. So yeah, this is very easy, very straightforward. You'll do just great, no doubt about it. Okay, Iwa is up next. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. Iwa writes, hello, our good friend got cirrhosis of the liver due to medication and alcohol. He have had almost all the known symptoms since last summer and just now going through major back surgery, fusing last 5 discs they found out about his liver. Just heard your natural detox pod. Thanks. What else do you recommend in this case? So appreciate your view on health and healing. Thanks for everything you do, Iwa. Okay, so I'm actually not recommending the Dr. Cabral detox to this particular person right now. Their liver is in a state where we should do this from a much gentler perspective, meaning they basically have liver disease, okay? So if you have liver disease, you don't want to attack the problem with the full force of everything you have. I think we should do this gentler. I would recommend the morning smoothie, no doubt about it. And again, this is not medical recommendations. This is from a natural health perspective, and you should always do what they feel comfortable. But a morning smoothie is going to be detoxifying. In that morning smoothie, You're going to have your berries. You're going to do some lemon or lemon water when you first wake up, which is just a natural liver cleanser as well. You can do some nice vitamin C for just helping with the liver as well. I would also recommend adding in sulfur-based vegetables throughout the day. Those are like Brussels sprouts and broccoli and some cauliflower and maybe some kale and what else would we put in there? Some garlic, maybe some onion if they can tolerate it, because those are just high in sulfur. It's going to help with the liver. I would also recommend some parsley. You can throw that in your shake if you'd like, but it is a little bitter, and cilantro. Those are very detoxifying for the liver as well. Try to have a handful of that every single day. That's what I would do. That a lot of people, again, I haven't used it myself specifically, but a lot of people with cirrhosis of the liver, they use something called BHT. But I believe, I'm thinking in my mind right now what BHT stands for, and I believe it's butylated hydroxytoluene, but please don't quote me directly on that. You can type in BHT for cirrhosis. You can check that out. This is not something I personally had to use in my clinic before, but I at least want to point you in that right direction, right? That's what the Cabral concept and the house calls are all about, getting you moving in the correct direction. I believe that's called butylated hydroxytoluene or toluene. Okay, so that's where I would move. And then once this person's doing better, their AST and ALT liver counts are coming down, they're doing a little bit better, maybe their kidney counts are improving as well, then they can do a Dr. Cabral detox. Okay, next up is Jen. Last question of the day. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Love your podcast. Thank you for all the awesome information you share each day. I've been interested in my own health and wellness for a while, although I fell off track a bit while dealing with all the life changes and business associated with getting married and moving, but I'm now back to making my health and my husband's health a priority. One thing I've always wondered is, how am I supposed to consume all of the healthy foods during the course of a day, week, month? If I regularly ate everything, which has been found to be good for my health, I think I'd not only be eating all the time, but I'd also get to be as big as a house. For instance, we all know certain nuts provide certain nutrients, health benefits, but we also nuts tend to be high in calories. I'm not a member of the calories in, calories out camp, but I do know for me, too many calories each week will make me gain weight over time, regardless of how much I eat. Even if we completely eliminate all grains from our diet, avocados, nuts, lean grass, lots of veggies, leafy greens, chia seeds can become overwhelming. Do you have any suggestions on how to prioritize? I'm just cutting through some of the question, even though it's a great question. And please, you can always read the full questions just by going to the show notes page. And let's see. And then what about your recent podcast on how to take your vitamins was very helpful. Perhaps you have a similar podcast related to foods. Thank you in advance for your guidance. Your willingness to share your knowledge is a blessing to many. Jen, this is actually a really great topic. I appreciate you bringing that up. And I should talk about how to get all the food in a day, because it is difficult. So the great thing is this, you don't have to get it all in a day. That's the nice thing. So that's one first thing to do. Remember, I always tell people, and I do this for myself, if you do nothing else right, let's just say you think of the most unhealthy people in the whole world, right? Just think of those people. If you can get them to do a morning smoothie with a product like our daily nutritional support, which is an all-in-one shake with their multivitamin, the minerals, their B vitamins, 15 grams of vegan protein, hypoallergenic, and then have them add in 1 tablespoon of the daily fruit and vegetable blend, which is 22 organic fruits and vegetables. It covers all of the bases of state-of-the-art functional medicine and all of the bases of whole food. That's why I always say, if you can do nothing else, I give talks this all the time, and people are like, what am I supposed to do first? You do that. You get that out of the way. And then if you can, it's called the Dr. Cabral Daily Protocol. You can do 50 billion live colony-forming units of a dairy-free probiotic. And again, we offer all of that for less than $5 a day. You can't get a breakfast anywhere else in the world like that. It costs that much to do a drive-through at McDonald's and get your coffee and your, Egg McMuffin sandwich. And this, you're getting everything that you need for the day. So I feel really great about trying to offer that to people, especially since it's what I do every day. So then after that, you say, okay, well, what do I put in my shake? Well, today I'm going to do blueberries and raspberries, and I'm going to put in 2 Brazil nuts, right? And you can put in a handful of spinach. And then tomorrow, this is just your smoothie. Tomorrow I'm going to put in some chard and some mango and some papaya and whatever it might be. So you can start to just rotate through all of these so-called superfoods, and you can put in your flaxseed, you put in your chia seed. That's why you can make a smoothie that has all this, but of course it can start to add up. So the truth is this, that if you're eating 60 to 80% of your diet from low glycemic, high antioxidant fruits and vegetables, predominantly vegetables, you're going to be doing great. You don't even need to worry about as much of the nuts. Yeah, you can add a little handful of nuts mid-afternoon if you want, but you don't even have to. You don't have to have those to be a happy, healthy human being, but you can try to get those in. And then honestly, if you eat protein such as fish or eggs or animal protein, you should do what they do in all of the longest lived cultures. And your protein is a garnish to your meal. It is not the main part of your meal. When I see these Instagram photos with, a slice of bread with an entire avocado, 2 eggs, and like 3 pieces of bacon on top, I said, where have we gone wrong? I don't see any of the vegetables there unless they're missing to me because I can't see them. And that's breakfast? What do you think lunch and dinner is going to look like? I mean, you're really asking your liver and your gallbladder to produce that much bile? Remember, just because we put a food in our body doesn't mean we can easily process it. So if you start to think about this, if you're putting in 50 to 100 grams of fat at a meal, you have to break that down. It's not a given that your liver breaks that down. It's not. And I know that you need the lipase, you need the enzymes, you need all those things. And I know that the body's going to produce some pancreatic enzymes. And I know that your liver and your gallbladder are going to produce this thing called bile, which is going to help to emulsify fats. I understand all of that. But you're saying best case scenario that you're able to do this day in and day out for 3 meals, 4 meals, 5 meals a day if you're eating beef jerky. So just start to think about it. That's all. My goal with the Cabral concept has always just been to educate and to open minds to just think about what they're doing. And at the end of the day, if you say, no, what I'm doing right now absolutely is the best thing for my body. It's working. It feels great. And my labs, that's the biggest thing. My labs show that it's working well. Don't guess. Lab test. Then, you're doing the right thing. My job is simply to open up the mind, to get you to think differently. I'm doing a lot of educating right now with MDs getting into functional medicine and RDs and health practitioners. And I always tell them, I want you to read this book on the paleo diet. And then I want you to read this book on a vegan-based diet. And then I want you to read this book on a Mediterranean diet. And what I want you to do is I want you to come back and I want you to outline a day's diet for each. I want you to see where they overlap and what they don't. And I always tell people, I believe what you'll find for the most educated authors that look at research, not just, talking about it, that you're going to find it varies very little. It really does. It varies by about a handful, maybe 2 of animal-based protein or fish per day. Everything else, people are saying, eat more vegetables, eat more of this. So I know it's kind of a roundabout answer, and I will do a whole show on this, but I do hope that helps. And also, I'm going to refer you back because I'm not going to answer this on today's show. It has been answered. I want you to go to episode 411. It shows you how to transition off a low-carb diet. That helps with weight loss. It helps you figure out what your equilibrium is, where you stay balanced. And then I want you to listen to episode 425, which is what's called how low carb can equal low thyroid, which can equal a hibernation state. Both of those are great listens for you. It will teach you about how going too low carb, too high fat for too long in susceptible people, mainly women, mainly with the susceptibility to thyroid-based issues, will send you into a starvation state that no matter what you do, the weight's not coming off. Like no matter what you do, even if you take it down to 800 calories a day, that weight's not coming off. Okay? Check out those shows. Thank you everyone for another great show of the Cabral Concept. It is your questions that make it happen. I do appreciate each and every one. And as always, I appreciate your reviews and referrals for the Cabral Concept. That's what keeps us going. That's what keeps us growing each and every month. Thank you again. Hope you had a great weekend.
Are you ready to heal yourself and then go on to heal others? If so, the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute can help you discover proven functional medicine protocols that blend the best of 7 different healing disciplines from around the world. I personally share with you the exact handouts and protocols I use in my private practice that enable people to get well, lose the weight, and live longer, stronger. I want to pass this information on to the next generation of health coaches, and that is exactly why I created IHP. We are the future of the health coaching industry, and the skills and knowledge you will learn will make you an in-demand certified health coach anywhere in the world. Although we have many medical professionals taking the IHP certifications, no experience is necessary, and half our members have no previous health certifications. At the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, our motto is a health coach in every home. Our goal is that you take this knowledge and then share it with family, friends, loved ones, your community, or in a practice where you create a career you love and can be proud of. The global IHP community is filled with some of the most kind and caring people in the world, and we can't wait to welcome you into our world soon. For more information or to set up a discovery call with one of our IHP Health Coach graduates, simply head over to integrativehealthpractitioner.org.